Oh, what's up, demons and demonettes? 'Tis I, Traxy Demon Colleen, and today I wanted to talk to you about a Crystal Clash. But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. And we're going to be covering today's event in both modes of the game, so preseason, seasonal side. And there's going to be a reason for that I'm doing that, because especially how I'm shooting this video and at the time, and we'll kind of go into it all when we go more into the strategy of the game mode. But let's kind of go over the mode in general at first. So what is it? So Crystal Clash is a PvP event that goes on for about 10 days. We're about halfway through at this point. Boom. It says non-season. That means we're not on a seasonal server. We're on a preseason server. Alright, so what do we have? So we get these points, right? You get points for defending a node, and you get points for attacking a node. What do the points do? The points go into your overall score, as you can see here. And then for your end ranking, you get a title. So what other rewards are available? Well, you have the in-game shop, right? So the crystals are the in-game currency that we get. So we can use them to buy stellars, yellow essence, A tier random pieces that give us A tier hero, and then blue essence as long as acorns. And then the point dump at the end is the hamsters, the paper hamsters that are the gift for the heroes, which are kind of nice because we're going to be getting a whole bunch of chibi hats coming in the near future that have been determined on the VN server. But we'll speculate more on that later. Alrighty, so let's go into kind of like what it looks like on an attack, right? So this is when you attack an 810 node and you get a 1.6 score, and you do that by using multiple heroes, and that's going to give you the maximum score on a hit is 1296. Now I will mention that there are different valued nodes out there. There is an 870 elite node out there somewhere. They're very rare. I haven't seen any going through both accounts, but I've seen other people post them online. So they are out there, but the highest one that you can hit on player side is 810, which corresponds to 1600. So if we go into here, right? So here I hit an 810 node. You have to use 30 different hero or 36 different heroes to get the 1.6 on seasonal side. It's a little bit less on the preseason side. So let's go in and let's talk about nodes and what we're kind of like looking for. I mean, obviously it depends on your account and what you can hit and what you can't hit. So this is a node, right? So this is 810. This is the maximum. What we want to do is we want to hit this node and we want to 1.6x this node to get the maximum rewards. So what you'll do here is you'll plunder Geode. And what you can do is you're an attacker, and as you defend, you can have two people defend. Ideally what we want to find are what we call soft nodes. They're very easy to take, whereas you only have one defender. So what we can do then is we can then invite someone. So you can either invite people on your friends list or you can invite guild, right? So I'm just going to send that out to guild for now. Oh, I can send this to someone too that that got me a node the other day. So I'll send that to them, and then we'll see. So what you do is I always set up my assist heroes. So you can put 3 heroes out that your ally can then use in their attacks. Typically I'll put heavy single target heroes out that are good for multiple things. So Lily May is a good one, Odie's a good one, because sometimes you might need like a double Odie to burn down a single Thorin or something, and then Scarlet up, but you typically want to put your best single target heroes there. So we'll save that. Alright, so somebody grabbed it. So we want a 1.6 exit. Having someone help you in attack helps towards the hero count. So as you can see, deploy 18 heroes or more, non-duplicate for 1.15. Now, if he deploys the same heroes as I do in a fight, they still count, right? So what you have here is this ticker, right? And when they have that star, that means they haven't been used and they count towards the count. So why we want 0 ones is because if we have weak heroes like I have on my preseason account, you know, I'm not going to be able to easily 1.6 exit. So I can use bad heroes like the hamsters, like my underdeveloped heroes like a Valen to easily take out the node, right? And easily make that count. So we just go here down to the bottom of our list, right? And then we send them out.
A great victory, the glory of which belongs to each and every.
So as you can see, now we're easily got that. We're clearing out the nodes. So now we can look at their actual defenses. So what we want to do is we want to keep in mind what team we're going to use for their core, which is probably going to be typically our strongest team. So here they have their legendaries. So this is like a softer team. Mauler. So we want to so Mauler, I want to kind of like use the faction bonus too, right? So if I'm fighting Maulers, I want to use my Lightbearer team. Graveborn team is pretty much good against anything except Wilder. So what we want to do is we'll just filter out, and this is the typical team that I want to run here. Right, and I might use the Lucius. I might not. So we'll see. We'll run this. We don't have as many options for artifacts on preseason, but we'll run the attack. Oh, I have one more spot. Okay, we can throw in... We'll throw in Lucius. Alright, so we'll throw that in. Go, team, go! And what I'm doing is I'm going to keep in mind, like... I want to kind of, like, keep my control comp for the final match. Because that's the best comp I have on this account. Now, my other account, I would probably hold something like a God comp. So we only need to deploy 6 more. So here, you know, I said I don't want to deploy Graveborn, but I'm not. I'm going to do a variation on Zoo. So we'll do that. Then we can do, like, a Shakir. Probably Mikola. And then probably Haywin.
Are you calling me?
You know, and it's just kind of like... fitting. This shouldn't be too hard, again, because it's only a legendary team, and I'm probably overthinking it. But we should be able to easily overpower them. And you get as many attempts on these nodes as you want. So you can always try. If one team doesn't work, you can always run a different team. You're unlimited on, like, the middle nodes on what you can run. The only thing is you have to be careful on the core, and I'll show you the trick that I use. That you can use to get through the core. So here we have, see, they're just kind of a very weak team. There's no Lily May, so they're very susceptible to control. So we're just gonna run we're gonna throw out our control team here. Probably gonna throw Damien out. We'll put Arden and then Elsa, right? So this should be able to lock down their team and blow through their crystal pretty easily. And again, we're at the point where we only need to deploy 1 hero. So if we did need to repeat here, we would have been okay. I could, in this case, repeat Haywin, who's a little bit of a stronger hero. I could probably, based on their setup, I can actually run... I could probably run a Smokey. Right, so we can run this, and then we'll see how it goes. Now, if it does start to go bad, what you do is I just take it off X2, and you can bail at any point, right? So you could just hit retry, and essentially you get infinite tries on their last node. So it doesn't count, right? Because it says, oh, but it only fully counts if you go through your entire timer. So if your entire team gets wiped, it counts. If you wipe their crystal, it counts. If you run out of time, it counts. So you have to use the retry trick before then. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw out Odium. So I'm not too worried about like a Taylene, especially since she's only orange, because we have control. And Taylene's a hero that's easily beat with control teams or Scarlita teams. So we know we're okay there. We've already pretty much wiped their team, so we can just speed this up. And I will note, only one person needs to wipe the core to get the full credit for the, to get the max score. So we're just gonna run this out. We're gonna throw out Cecilia just for some extra damage. Preseason, it's a little slower sometimes. I mean, we're still getting through it. We had a ton of time. We have 45 seconds left. We're set. Alright, so that's a successful attack. Blender complete. So see, we ran different combined. We ended up with 45 different heroes because we did run with somebody else. So it's a little bit easier to make that count when you run with somebody else. And so we got the 1.6, so we got the 1296. Right? Because we want to get maximum bonus. So that's kind of like attacking a node. I don't really have an account where I can show defense, but you set your defensive teams. I usually try to prefer to like have the stronger account on the middle row, and that lets the stronger account concentrate their heroes and make their 3 best teams. Obviously, if you could get a 1 tile and put like a Thorin out or an Entendre, you'd be set. So this is the maximum you can get from attacking, but without a 870 node. So if we go here, boom, 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 we're good. So that's gonna give us a pretty good score here. So that's strategy 1, is we want to make sure we get at least 3 8-10 nodes and 1.6 them, because then that's going to get us the maximum score, because we can't really bank on getting an 870 node because they are super rare, so we may not even see one the whole event. I didn't see a rare node last event. I haven't seen a rare node yet this event. I know people post them, but they've been very rare. I've only seen 2 posted online and haven't heard of anybody getting them, so they may be even like super rare. Alright, so that's what we really want to do for our earnings. Now let's talk about the overall ranking, right? So then when we defend, we want to defend obviously 1600. We want to, or at a minimum, I would say 1570, and that's going to give us the most points. And you're like, oh, why are your points low? We'll get into that a second. Because you're not immune to having your own core penetrated and destroyed. So we want to get the most points right here, right? So if we're going for first place or top 20, what we can do is make defensive hits, right? And we'll get into that when I talk about how my core got wiped. But we can add to our score essentially and subtract from our opponent's scores. So we would want to like look out and find some of these people. Like this person here, they made a hit on me. They screwed me over. And I'll get. All right. So that's kind of what. So you would want to like. It may be closer. Preseason, it's not as bad. It's not as crazy because there's not as many high nodes out there. But I'll review it on like the seasonal side. So let's go. Let's move over to the seasonal side of the world for that. So we're just gonna switch over to my seasonal account. Because this is what more people are going to have at the probably more of the older in-season accounts are going to see this. If you are on the new global side with the Asia servers, you're going to have the preseason. You're just going to have a couple of everything's in Golden Wheatonshire and preseason, so you can just run around Golden Wheatonshire in the entire map in like 5 minutes and check for all of the nodes. Here, it's a little bit bigger because it's the entire seasonal map. So if we go to the rankings here, it's going to be a little bit closer to the race, right? So that's why me getting my node hit is really, really bad. And it's going to put me like way down in second. So as you can see, what I want to do is I want to hit everybody that's in the top 20. And I'm probably going to have to keep hitting them just so that I can maintain a top spot, right? So I hit them twice. I hit them once. I haven't found this person's node, and I can speculate as to why. And I can talk about them when I talk about my defense. So we're just kind of like talking about strategy. So we just want to make sure we hit and wipe these people's cores. Now, once you get your 3 8-10s out of the way, right, and you got your max score here, what you can do, because you have up to 15 hits, but unfortunately we don't have a counter, so you kind of have to keep track of it mentally. Or write it down on a piece of paper, or however you want to track it. So you can make those defensive hits. You just need to wipe their core to make the maximum hit count. So let's go into the defensive side and show you what happened here, right? So my core got plundered. So I had come up with the strategy. One of the things you can do is you can defend off server or off district, right? So I friended my preseason account and I said, oh, I have a bunch of P4 on my account. I should be pretty safe defending on off server. However, there's always the risk that someone else could have a friend or reach out into Discord or online and get another whale to come help them. So what happened was, if I can show my defensive log here, right? So we got hit by this guy, right? Obviously, big whale from, I don't know how old that server is, but that's a pretty big whale. Their account is about on par with my seasonal account for power, probably a little bit higher. So in that case, there's nothing I can do, right? Like, I kind of got, it is what it is. I mean, what happened, an equal size whale came along. It's very easy to beat the teams. Even the best defenses aren't that great in this game mode. It's just that if they can't wipe your node. But if you play Supreme Arena and you're at the tippy top and you have these accounts that are at all this, like, I'd say 49 power level and higher, it's very easy to swap and it's very easy to 3x. So like I 3x everybody else, I can be 3x'd, and yeah, and then you get the extra heroes and you can repeat, especially when you have multiple. And since my other account wasn't that strong, I was a little surprised, but you're just susceptible to that happening. And so that's a big loss. So you could see, like, when you hit somebody else's, you're giving them like a 450 some odd minus. So that's big. So that's why we have to do the defensive hits, right? Because that's gonna give us a better position to do that. Now, because I did run my secondary account, so I ran my 3 strongest squads in the middle on the 3 ring. With this, I have a very strong comp that I run that's very mean. However, the issue is it's not immortal, right? Because there's no one best comp anymore to pit out there. So we'll just get, so we got our points. So that's kind of going to put us in second. So again, that 450 point loss is huge. So that was my other plan, because before I had defended off server in a different district. So I'll have to look maybe potentially at going off district, because this person, I have not seen their node, and obviously they have a pretty high score. That tells me that either A, they are hiding off district and have been hiding off district this entire time, which I speculate is what is happening, is that they're hiding off district, or there is always the possibility I'm just not seeing their node, because the game is a little buggy and that you can't see people's nodes sometime. So like we tested this the last time where we were hunting somebody, somebody else in my guild found their node and told me where it was. I go over onto the map, it's not there. I have to reload my game and then it's there. I'm not gonna reload my game and run around the map twice. That's just not gonna happen. It already takes like a half an hour to get through the entire map and searching for nodes to hit for defense versus having to do it twice. And if you're looking at every high level nodes, so I'm pretty tenacious. So what I will do is when I'm looking for nodes that I need to hit defensively, I will look at anything that's 700 or higher, because I know that corresponds to like a 14 or 1500 node. And so if somebody I need to hit on one of those higher nodes, I'm gonna hit it for defense to subtract their points, or I'm going to skip it if it's too low, because then they're just kind of like doing themselves in. We have 5 days now. I still have a chance. I could get back into first. I'm probably gonna be, I still have a good shot at top 3 at this point. It's just that, you know, hey, I got Murphy's Law. One of the things the only thing that bad that could happen to me when defending off district happened to me, but it doesn't prevent that from happening in district as well, because I've helped other people help hit their nodes that they needed to hit. So it's like, hey, that's another strategy, right? If you need to hit somebody's node and you can't hit it, make a whale friend, or post in like a Discord and just get help from a bigger whale or another whale, right? Because comparable whales can wipe each other out. So there's no because there's no best one defense anymore where, oh, I have Paragon 4 on everybody, so my defense is going to be unbeatable. That doesn't exist anymore. When they added Taylene and Lily May into the mix, that kind of changed everything up. So that's the defensive side of things. So we'll talk about season. So we'll cover the map and we'll cover some hotspots, right? So there's like a few really big hotspots. So you have Ashen Waste 1. This is kind of a hotspot for nodes. If you don't have a lot of time, you want to hit the hotspots. Ashen Waste 2, this area particularly is a hotspot. But I'll check up here too because there are a decent concentration. We go up to Webbed Wall. This is another hotspot here. There's a ton here. And then everything else is kind of spread out. I mean, usually there's a few nodes here. You can only see so far on the draw, but usually here has a few nodes. But I would hit those 3 areas first. Then you could come in and make this loop here. You could go around here. There's usually a few nodes here, and near the town, and there won't be in towns, but they'll be, except for here. They're along the bottom of the road here for some reason. This loop here usually has a fair amount of nodes. Now, there's going to be nodes all over the map, essentially. They won't be in caves, and they won't be in towns, so you can kind of, like, skip those. So, typically, how I do my progression, right, I'll start out here, because every one of those 870 nodes I've seen has been Webbed Wall. This is Webbed Wall, right up here. So, I always hit this area first, because that's the biggest concentration. Second, I'll hit this area here because that's kind of like off of how I'm going to go. So then once I hit those 2 areas, I'm going to start canvassing the whole map. So we'll start here in Ashen Waste 1. We'll make our way through. Then make our way through here. Go up through here. There's usually no nodes here, so we'll go here. We'll check this area because sometimes there's nodes. So we go up through here. Right, and then we check through here, because there's nodes all through up here. This is the main city. This is a city, the main city. So what we can do is we can jump to this node here. And then we run through here. This is a city, so we don't really need to check there. So we can just go along this road. And we go here, go here, go here, go here. We check up through here. I get to about this node. Then I pop up to this node. And then we can check here, and then we come down here. And then we go down here, through here. There's never any up here. You go through here, you come down. Then we come down around, we make our way here. There's usually some nodes here, but not a lot. You go down here. You gotta do this little hook, because there'll be some hidden nodes down here. You come up here, you go back around this way. You come down here to about here-ish. Then there's no nodes over here, so then you can port back up to here and make your way up here. You go around here. Then I port over here, check down here. And then again, like I said, we go down around this way. We come down here. We go down to here. We go check over here. This is like a charge beast. There won't be any in those areas. So then we can just port back to here, and then we make our way around. And then like I typically check this hot spot before I come down. And then we check out this entire area of the map. Once that area is checked, I port back up to here. And then we make our way around here. Just like that. We go up in here. We check up there because there's nodes up here. And then there's like nodes over here. So again, we come around here. This is a city. Then we go here. Then we can make the loop-de-loop here. Come back around, down around this way. Alright, so wait, what about when we get to here? Right, we can just port to this one here, because the only nodes are like down here for this area. And then we can port back up here. We can go past here, and then we go up, and then we come back around this way. Check all of this. All of this. There's nothing here. Then we go up here. Sometimes there's a few nodes up in here. And we'll check those. Then we can port back up to here. Sometimes there's one here, so if you didn't check that previously, you can check for that one. If you checked this entire area here, I usually run along here. I haven't really seen any nodes this far along, so you can port to here. Because there will be like a node or two over here, and then sometimes there's like 3 or 4 nodes in this last section here. So what you do is you go here, you port over here, you run down this side down here, and then you're kind of like split here. I usually go down and then check this section, then port back up here, and then check the last leg here, and this is where I'll end up. And that'll let you get through the whole map. Now that might take like a half an hour to 45 minutes. Again, when I'm going through, I'm checking for people. I'm checking high nodes. I'm checking to see if they're in the top 20. And I'm checking, like, lucky for me, we have like, there's like an alliance on the one server, so they have like 3 guilds, and most of them all have the same name in front of their name. So that's the other thing too, is like you can, if you're really meticulous, you can go through, see who you need to hit, see what guild they're in, see who's in their guild, and then see if they're in there and cross-reference that way. But they like made it easy for us, because they all have like the same name, like prefix in front of their names. So I just see, oh, that's on a node. I need to check that node because I know that their people are near the top. So those are the people that I'm hunting. So that's who I need to hit. Otherwise you have to be a little bit more diligent because you don't know who's in whose guild always. You don't know who's friends with who. And if you really need to hit someone, you got to figure if they're trying to go for the win, they're going to defend higher nodes. So you're going to want to check those like over 700s, I would say, for sure, for the people that you need to hit. And that's how I found a lot of the people that I need to hit, because they were hidden. Like, you had people allied with other people that I didn't suspect they would be allied with, but hey, they were sharing a node, so I hit them. Yeah, so let's now, on this side of things, I'm gonna run a bunch of different teams. I typically have like an order of teams that I run. I don't know if this is the best way to show it. But we're gonna run God Comp. So like your Dio, Scarlita, Thorn, Damien, and that'll be a core, and then we can flex in Lily May, Taylene, and Burial as needed. I kind of have like a depth roster in mind, so I have like one Graveborn team that I can run that's really good. Just because I have Sylvina at P4 plus 10, she's amazing. Typically that team would be like Sylvina, Ludovic, Viperian, Igor, and then I kind of have like a flex spot, so I might throw in like a Salazar if they're a little weaker and I need them for count, or Cicia because I may not use her elsewhere, Carolina because I may not use her elsewhere, so we have that option. If I go to Lightbearer, and I'm just going, kind of building these teams based on like the faction bonuses to get that maximum bonus, we'll say. So my primary team, if I can run it, is going to be Vala, Corin, Tamesia, Rowan, and then somebody else. Maybe like a Lucius or a Miralee. If they're a little bit on the weaker side, I can kind of split up Tamesia and Vala. So I could run like Tamesia, Miralee, Walker, Faye, Atlanta, Cassidy as like one unit. Or if I can, I try to like pigeonhole in and squeeze in these two on weaker maps, unless I have that like 0-0-0, right? And then I can just throw my weak heroes out. But if I have to go up against like a stronger type team, and I need to use these teams, I kind of like have, okay, so I have one Graveborn team that's pretty strong. I have two Lightborn teams, or Lightbearer, I always get them, Lightbearer teams. I've got one that's kind of weaker, and one that's kind of stronger, and if I reconfigure, I have a really strong team if I need it. Mauler, we kind of, again, we're glutton for choice here, so we can run kind of like two teams. It's really just kind of like dependent. So, I mean, we have, you know, you have Shakir, Seth, Mikola, maybe like a Brutus or a Lumont, and then maybe a Coco. That could be like one team. If we can get them in, we can get in Smokey, Odie, Lumont, Kruger, Entendre, Citrana, Reese. So we have like a lot of different configurations we can run with Mauler, but we should be able to get two Mauler teams. Wilder is kind of the same thing, right? Now, I want to save my main core control team. And what's my core control team is going to be Aaron, Brian, Olmis, Arden, Elsa, and then maybe Hewen if I can, and Lily May. And we kind of want to try to save them. We want to make, if we run into a good control comp, then we know we need to use Lily May because she's an easy counter. If we run into Lily May, then we want to have Brian on hand to eat Lily May because he's a very good counter and works well in the control team. I may also save this team for the core because this is also, the control team is very strong against the core team, as well as my ace up my sleeve, which is the God comp. And like I said, I'll either flex Taylene in there, or I will flex Lily May in there. I can, if I need to, I can solo nodes for the most part on my own. People have been getting stronger. It has been a little bit more difficult, but I still can. Yeah, so that's kind of the 4 factions. And then again, we can do like cross factions. So we can like we could run like a zoo comp on one, right? So maybe like Freyesto, Rainer, Sucia with Florabelle, and then like an extra support we haven't used yet that we're not saving for something else that we're keeping in mind. You know, Scar, Dio, Taylene, we're saving pretty much for the end. So, yeah, and then like, I just try to get the other heroes in just to get counts. But those are some of the configurations and like type teams that I run. I wish we had replays. I could show you more. We don't really have recaps on the nose, right? Because you go here, you don't have like I wish it gave you like a recap to show you your formations, but it doesn't. So that's kind of like the configurations. And then like I said, so your goal is to use the 36 different heroes. If you have a strong node you're going against, just get somebody else that's, you know, decently powered to come help you out. I will say that when you're going from preseason attacking a seasonal side, it's a bit more difficult. So like when I use my main account to feed my second account, it's a lot harder. And the fact that my second account can't really hit the nodes. So like even my Paragon 1 heroes struggle against Supreme Plus heroes. And that's just could be because of EX weapon buildup. But I think it's more so that the seasonal side, they get the season artifacts, which are plus 30 on ours compared to plus 10 on preseason. And then they have the seasonal abilities that we don't have. So I think that's everything. I know it's a lot, but hey, my goal is to try and get first. Again, one of the loopholes in the system is that you can defend off district. So I may never actually see this person's node. So I may never get the chance to hit them if they're always off district. I think it's a little unfair. I think you should have your node should be always visible on the map, so that even if like you're season to season Your node should be on both maps. You get I think it puts too much of a disadvantage. Again, I was trying to game the system and using it to my advantage. I will try to use it to my advantage. Just but again, like you saw, it doesn't mean you're not immune to being hit, because somebody could have a big whale friend out there, or go recruit one to come help them out. And so when they tried to hit me, I don't, probably because they just wanted the higher node, or they just wanted to hit my account because I'm number one in everything. Maybe they just don't like my PFP. I mean, there's a million and one reasons why. Maybe they wanted to hit me because I caused two of their guild leaders to quit because I just beat them up in arena, or our guild just beat them up in arena and they want to get back at our guild. So people may attack you for the dumbest reasons and cause you to lose. So it's crazy. And like I said, there's nothing preventing someone. So you can have the best strategy that you came up with, that should work, that should get you first place, but you're gonna lose because Murphy's Law came in and somebody recruited a comparable whale or a bigger whale to come along and hit your node. Like I said, I've done it. I've been recruited. People have wanted me to come help out, and because I'll just do it for the fun of it, and I like the challenge of the event. And or people will just be like, hey, come, I need to get 810s, come help me get my 810s, and I need 810s. So it's easier if I get them on a softer district, and I can get my 810s that way. So there's nothing preventing someone from recruiting a bigger whale, coming to your district and hitting your node on defense. So defense isn't like the best way. So the best defense is a good offense. So if you really want to get that top score and that top rank, and you want to see your name number one, you gotta play defense to play, or you gotta play offense to play defense. So you have to go out, you have to hunt down those nodes, you have to hit those nodes. So you see, I hit his node the other day. That gave me a good boost. I hit her node twice. That gave me a good boost. I hit his node and he didn't defend higher nodes. That gave me a good boost. My problem is I only have 15 hits and I have to hit about 20 different people at this point. So it's gonna be rough. So like there's people's here I haven't seen their nodes. Like this guy, I haven't seen his node. I need to hit him at least once now to kind of like give me an advantage. I haven't seen this person's node. I only saw this person's node once the entire time, the last event. So again, that tells me they're defending off server, which sucks for me, because then I won't be able to see and hit their node. So there's no way I can make a defensive hit against them. Unless, I put like a bounty out on them, but that'd be crazy. And we don't need to get that crazy with the event. So we'll just keep on going. Obviously, we're still gonna get we already got all of the good rewards out of the shop, and there's like 5 days left. It's been pretty exhausting running around that map every day, staying up late running every day, but it's just, it's difficult because you're trying to hunt down those nodes, you're trying to hunt down that elusive mythic 870. So those are just some of the things to consider when you're running in Crystal Clash, and I wish you a good luck in the event and have fun. And as always, toss any comments or questions down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!